it affects and infects us in what we think about what's going on, what we're told about what's going on around the world. Let me give you an example that will reinforce my answer. In every newsroom at the beginning of the day, there's a person who's called an assignment editor. They come in at sunup, and they look at mail that has come in, and they look at the wire services and the internet, and they look at the barrage of television screens. And between that, they begin to assemble the assignment schedule for the day. What's going to be covered, and who is going to cover it as the reporters come in. I've been through this. So when you show up for work, your first stop is the assignment desk. And they say, Noble, you're going to go here. This is who's going to be representing the mayor, and this is who you'll be talking to, that kind of stuff. Later on in the morning, the assignment editor meets with the producers and the writers, and they sit and they talk over an oval table about the assignments and what's going to be on the evening news. And they make their comments. Well, we're going to cover that story again. I mean, we've already given that story. No, let's move it down, or let's shave it to just a 30-second voiceover. Overwhelmingly, the people who make these decisions are neither black, nor brown, nor red, nor yellow. And they're talking about coverage of a world that is, for the most part, black, brown, red, and yellow. On a network level, it's even more severe because you have these news bureaus all around the world who are controlled and captained and run by people who are neither black, brown, red, or yellow, who determine what the reporters in these bureaus go and cover. And when they bring back the report, then it is wired into the newsrooms and the head offices here in New York City, and then they decide to what's going to be laid in. Now, mind you, the network newscast is a half hour. They've got about 7 or 8 bureaus around the world, not to mention a dozen or so in the United States. All of this information is coming into this narrow funnel. Who determines not only what gets in the funnel, but all that extra stuff that doesn't? And what I'm saying is that the people who make that decision are neither black, nor brown, nor red, nor yellow, or have they had any educational background that tells the truth about the people who are black or brown or red or yellow. So there's a presumption that we're getting the skinny on what happened today. That's not so.
Misinformation instead.
Yes, I think misinformation is indeed a weapon of mass destruction.
And then, of course, there is the issue of self-perceptions, and another issue pertaining to the perceptions of others based on this misinformation.
Exactly. I mean, I went through school, and I was proud that I was able to commit to memory the Gettysburg Address. 77 years ago, our forefathers brought forth upon this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty, dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. All?
Yes. And what about the word men?
Huh?
What about the word men?
There you go. There
Yes.
you go. But I swallowed that. And it's burned in my brain, all of us. Proud of it. Never once was it questioned, you know. Never once do we really focus on the beginnings of this country. And there's a woman now who I've given a lot of attention to because I think her thesis is right, Dr. Joy Leary. And she's been talking about the long-lasting impact of the slave experience on the victims of that, post-traumatic slave syndrome. I think that that's something that needs to be really looked at, and white people, as well as black, need to look at that before there's any help. So, the journalist has a lot of legwork, preparatory legwork, in order to really fulfill the precepts of effective journalism, and it's not happening in my judgment.